Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Saturday, the 17th of August 2024. Today was match day and it was a roller coaster. Here we go. This is the match report. 7-goal thriller, which we came out on the wrong end of. So let's read the match report and we'll discuss it. Millwall beaten in 7-goal Ashton Gate fixture. Bristol City beat Millwall 4-3 in the Sky Bet Championship at Ashton Gate on Saturday afternoon. Goals from Anis Mehmeti and Sinclair Armstrong put the Robins into a 2-0 half-time lead in BS3, but a turnaround early in the second half saw Romain Esse, Tom Bradshaw from the penalty spot and Duncan Watmore put the Lions 3-2 up. However, goals from Falemayulu and Scott Twine completed City's own comeback to win a 7-goal thriller. Neil Harris reverted back to the starting 11, which took to the field against Watford on the opening day of the campaign. A game again, so the same team, and we have a similar result where we go 2-0 down and then we come back and then we end up losing. Meaning Lucas Jensen was back in between the sheets with names such as Sean Hutchinson, Tom Bradshaw and Duncan Watmore in the side. Two goalkeepers were named on the bench in Liam Roberts and Connell Truman, whilst Tom Leahy, Alfie Massey and Carl Smith were among the substitutes. Kevin Nisbet missed out through illness. Just 3 minutes in, Millwall were behind. A pass down the right-hand side saw Armstrong sent away. He crossed for Mehmeti, who was able to convert after a failure to clear. A handball shout was not given minutes later as the Lions attempted to equalise, but with 12 minutes on the clock, Millwall were 2 behind as a defensive mix-up allowed Armstrong to nod home the simplest of 3 headers. On 24 minutes, Millwall somehow failed to reduce the arrears as George Honeyman's cross found an unmarked Ryan Leonard at the back post. The right back guiding an effort off the far post along the line and into the clutch of Bristol City goalkeeper Max O'Leary. A sustained spell of pressure then ended with Joe Bryan's inviting cross leading to a foul in the penalty area as the visitors looked to force the ball home. The Lions were on top on the half-hour mark, and Bradshaw's determination saw him slip a through ball into the path of Watmore, only for the City defence to scurry back and clear behind before a free kick in the Brums in position was fired over by George Saville. Max Bird flashed a strike wide of Jensen's far post in a rare foray forward for the visitors, for the hosts, with Mehmeti's effort also failing to trouble the goal in the final action of the half. With 51 minutes on the clock, the Lions halved the deficit as Eze twisted and turned in the box before striking low past O'Leary, and just 3 minutes later, Millwall were level as the goal scorer's cross from the right was handled in the penalty area. Sonny Gill pointed to the spot and Bradshaw stepped up to send the keeper the wrong way for 2-2. Once more, Millwall were on top and nearly made it 3-2 on 56 minutes, but Bradshaw's strike across goal went just wide of the far post. The game then opened up into an end-to-end affair, with Leonard having to cut out Mark Sykes' dangerous cross, but on 64 minutes, the remarkable turnaround was complete as Watmore's volley beat O'Leary to fly into the top corner. Jensen then had to make himself big to deny Bird as the chances flowed, whilst Bradshaw could have put the Lions 4-2 up with just over 20 minutes to go as he latched onto Jake Cooper's flick on, O'Leary saving his header, however. Danny McNamara and Adomio Maku replaced goal scorers Esse and Watmore with 13 minutes to play, and a minute later it was 3-3 as a slick passing move saw substitute Mayulu guide an attempt beyond Jensen. Honeyman's cross was directed back towards goal by Saville inside a frantic final 10 minutes, with Mayulu almost having the chance to poke home at the other end seconds later. Twine's attempt was then blocked by an expert challenge from Bryan as a raft of opportunities continued to be presented, and with 88 minutes on the clock, City's turnaround of their own was complete as Twine converted. Leahy's Millwall debut was to then follow as he came off for Sean Hutchinson, but it was the Robins who would have the next chance as Jensen had to save from Mayulu. Following 5 minutes of stoppage time, referee Sonny Gill blew time on an instant classic, but one that Millwall fell the wrong side of. And there's bookings for Denor and Jensen. 1,177 Millwall fans travelled out there for that. And the team was Jensen, Leonard, Hutchinson, Cooper, Bryan, Denor, Saville, Esse, Honeyman, Watmore, Bradshaw, and the subs were Imaku and McNamara on for SA and Watmore, 77 minutes, and Langstaff on for Bradshaw on 83 minutes, and Lee on for Hutchinson, 89 minutes. The unused subs being Truman, Roberts, Smith, Massey, and Harding. So what can we say? Well, first things first. Why are the two goalkeepers on the bench? Well, I mentioned this before because Gary Rowett did this. He did it. I think last season was the first season where they increased the amount of substitutes from 5 to 7. From 7 to 9. Yeah, something like that. So you probably don't realise this, but every game that Mill go to, they always have 3 goalkeepers. They bring very 3 goalkeepers with them, because you've got a player who's diving around, and he might fall on the floor, or hopefully he falls on the floor and saves the ball. But he might injure himself. There is a higher risk that they will injure themselves, and you don't want to go into a game because 3 points in the championship is very vital, and you want to give yourself the best advantage. So you always bring 3 goalkeepers in case one of them gets injured. That's just how it is. So Truman was there anyway. I guess just because he did so well in the under-21 game that they probably just included him in the substitutes. What can we say? Obviously, it's good that we're scoring goals. It's not good that we're conceding goals. Having looked at the highlights, all of the goals came down our left-hand side to some extent. Not directly, but like coming down and then crossing it in. For the first goal, obviously the ball comes in. Ryan Leonard, I think he's worried about getting too much onto it and maybe scoring an own goal, so he's conscious to try and do that. He kind of tries to jump up and kind of deaden the ball, and it doesn't really work. Goes through his legs. They score. The second one, looking at Jensen, he should have done better with that. Looking at Jensen overall, listen. Obviously, the plan was, I think they bring in Jensen. He's the number 1. Okay, let's get him going and build him up. But your plans can have unexpected twists, and one of the twists seems to be he doesn't really get it at the moment. I almost certainly want to see changes for the next game. You've played the same team twice in a row, Neil Harris, obviously, and I don't mean just bringing Tanganga straight in, because obviously his suspension has now been fulfilled, and he can come back into the squad. I would like to see Roberts go in goal. Now, if he's just as bad, then it is what it is, and then you have a decision to make. You obviously brought him into the Portsmouth Cup game. He didn't really have anything to do, but we can't keep going on like this. This is just insanity. Obviously, you wanted Jensen to be number 1. He's got number 1 shirt. You probably paid more money for him than Roberts was a free, I believe. So you paid money for Jensen, but sometimes these things don't work out the way you expect them to. He was kind of diving at things, and his positioning was all wrong. So obviously, at the moment, you hope that if he does go out of the team, Andy Marshall can work with him, train him up, and then he can figure out and maybe come back in at a later date. But so yet again, we go down 2 goals, and then obviously go into half time 2 goals down. Second half, come back out straight away, almost immediately. Goals get scored. Romain Esse, bit of a genius. Everyone's on his back at the end of the last season and the start of this season. Like, what does he do? What is he? He just keeps giving the ball away. That's what he does, man. What you saw today, he can run with the ball at his feet. He can shrug people off. He can do things like that, and that's why you have players like that in your team. Even if they do sometimes give the ball away, and sometimes they do misplace a pass, because in the 90 minutes they can produce a bit of magic and you end up getting a goal, which is and you think he's still only 18 years old. So yeah, he goes on like a bit of a slalom, puts the ball in the net, obviously, and at that point, the major contribution from Bradshaw was jumping over that shot, so he didn't get in the way of it. Again, why are we playing Bradshaw? He's clearly lost some pace. And when you've got a player who you constantly say his main attribute is hassling defenders, if he can't run at them as quickly as he could, then he's the main reason why he's in the team. He's not that good at anymore. And just get Langstaff in and get him to do it. But yeah, so Bradshaw stepped up and scored the penalty, and he celebrated like he won the World Cup. I mean, was it a penalty? I'm not too sure. I don't really care. And then a bit of a wonder goal from Duncan Watmore with his right foot. That really, like, he makes it look as easy as you don't understand how brilliant that goal was, because he pulled his kick. I was going to say pulled his punch, but so the ball comes in from a long throw in. I think it was Leonard. One flick on or kind of like dropped, missed it, falls through to Watmore, and he swings his leg at it, and he's got if he hits it, he kind of cushions his foot. That's the way he's done that is absolutely brilliant. And he just touches it, and the ball goes into the top right hand corner. Absolute scenes. 3-2, lovely jubbly. Well, here we go. We're going to win this game, aren't we? Well, no, because I think we scored too early. And what happens, ladies and gentlemen? What happens? Well, obviously, you know, we're in the lead away from home. You've got to bring on an extra defender, haven't you? That's like we saw that at Portsmouth with Hutch coming on, so he didn't pay out for them. But today, obviously, bring McNamara on, and literally within a minute, whoops, we've just conceded. It's 3-3. That's fantastic. Brilliant stuff, huh? And then for the fourth goal, McNamara is just, he's looking behind him. No one's there, but he keeps looking behind him. There's a player in front of him that, I think it was Hutch in front of him, just let him drift behind him without actually staying with him. And McNamara is obviously, for some reason, he's not been on it. He's I imagine because he's not been playing, you can't just bring him in and expect him to play. If you wanted to bring an extra defender on, I would say bring McNamara on for Joe Bryan, because like I said, all of Bristol City's goals came down that side. Obviously we know Joe Bryan, he's got a decent delivery, he's got a decent pass, he's good going forward, but defensively they target him for some reason. I don't know if clubs in this league just target left backs or it's just our left backs, because it happened with Murray Wallace as well. It happened with Joe Bryan. Should have took Joe Bryan off and put Danny Mack on the left hand side just to shore things up. Instead, you took Essay off for McNamara, although Essay was a bit knackered at the time. Obviously, there was a lot of effort from the players. The players put a lot of effort into this. Yeah, just a crazy game. Crazy game. And then, obviously, see, McNamara comes on, the extra defender, to shore things up. As soon as we go to 3-2, 3-3, oops, okay, that's fine. Let's hold on to the draw. Oops, it's 4-3 on the 88th minute. Oh, you know what? Straight away, let's bring young Lee on for his debut, just to bring an extra attacker on now, because we've literally, like, night and day switch. Oh, let's just immediately switch from trying to defend all the time to now trying to get this goal to get a 4-4 draw by bringing Lee on his debut. That was his debut. That was, yeah, I mean, take Hutch off on for Leahy, so what can you do? Again, if we don't see changes for the next game, then obviously I think we're going to see obviously a lot of people already on the Harris's back, and we'll see how we go. But obviously, if you look at that bench and you look at Bristol City's bench, the two of the players who scored the goals, Mayulu, Twine, they came on. The new guy, Earthy, came on. So they've got some decent players on their bench, and to be fair to us, we haven't. And that was a point of contention in the post-match comments, which we'll get to shortly. But before we do that, we'll have a look at the pictures from today's game, playing in that silver, well, they Dockland steel kit, they call it. We got some pictures, so that's before the game. George Honeyman, George Saville, Ryan Leonard, Hutch. What more? There's the goal. There's the penalty. There you go. Celebrating like he's won the World Cup. Scored one of his 3 goals this season. There, that is Duncan Watmore. Look at that. Look at that. That is someone who knows what they're doing. He makes it look easy, but it certainly isn't. And there we go. Despair all around with the players and the fans. So, this is from the southernnews.co.uk. Lions boss praises players for fight back at Bristol City. Neil Harris was still able to take some positives from today's gutting 4-3 loss at Bristol City. The Lions fought back from 2-0 down at the break to 3-2 up by the 64th minute as Romain Esse, Tom Bradshaw and Duncan Watmore all found the target. Ultimately, it wasn't enough after Robin substitutes Fally Mayulu and Scott Twine swung the game back in the home side's favour to leave Millwall still searching for their first points. And despite his obvious frustrations with the outcome, the Den Chief pointed out there were pluses from the game when asked. And Neil Harris said, there were 3 good goals. I'm pleased for the 3 goal scorers. Like Romain, he scored again. He's a 19-year-old who's come through our system, and he's a great kid, and he's been a real spark for us. Duncan Watmore again was excellent, a goal threat and a brilliant goal. Tom Bradshaw's off the mark, which is important for your senior striker to get off the mark, so I'm very pleased for him. I felt we dealt with the adversity of going behind early to go up 3-2 and looking comfortable at 75 minutes. But then obviously there's a real kick in the teeth, and I have to be really honest with the fan base at the moment. For 75 minutes, barring a couple of errors leading to 2 goals, we were in front and looking really comfortable. Ultimately, the impact from the 2 benches changes the game. Harris has also revealed what he has said to his players at half-time when they came in trailing 2-0. He said, there were a few choice words to start with, just a few basic principle reminders of my group about stopping crosses, being more aggressive, cutting out individual errors, movement off the ball, bravery on the ball, and trusting each other. And then I reminded them about how we came from 2 goals behind last week. I said if we do get back into the game, I expect us to shut up shop. I can praise my players hugely. The starting 11 for how they went about 75 minutes. So it's not the first 75 minutes that have cost us. Harris also once again reiterated his eagerness to get new players on board before the window shuts later this month. I hope so, the manager said. There has to be signings. You saw the game and you look at the 2 squads. Obviously, you look at the 2 benches. I've had to name 2 goalkeepers on my bench. I've never done that before. Now, let's pick apart this. Tom Bradshaw is off the mark, which is important for your senior striker. Why did we buy Langstaff? How is Tom Bradshaw still the senior striker? Can somebody tell me? He's clearly getting old. He's clearly losing his pace. He needs 7 chances to score 1 goal. He's not our senior striker. It's up for competition. What we've got here is clearly Neil Harris thinks that the team that he put out is the best team that we've got. That's our first 11. Come hell or high water, that's our first 11. That's the best players. Even though we just lost 2 games in a row. How can the best team lose 2 games? the shit team that you put out against Portsmouth, paraphrasing, let's say not the first 11, they won 1-0. So what's that about? And again here, I said if we do get back into the game, I expect us to shut up shop. Why? So this is the thing. So we go out, we start the game. Listen, lads, shut up shop. Don't try and attack too much. And then when we go 2-0 down, let's start attacking now. It must be because we've done it 2 games in a row. 2 league games in a row. Oh shit! Plan A is to shut up shop and try and nick a goal. Plan B is once we lose 2 goals because shutting up the shop don't work. Now we can start scoring goals. Bro, we've scored 7 fucking goals. We scored 5 goals. 6 altogether if you include the cup game. We scored 5 goals. And we've got no points. And all of the goals came from a losing position. Right, shutting up shop ain't it. Going for it is it. Go for it from the start, from the first whistle. Let us go up 2 goals up. And then shut up shop. Maybe by taking off Joe Bryan and bringing Danny Mack on. Because you want a fullback that can defend rather than a fullback that can attack when you're 2 goals up. This is worrying. Worrying words from Neil Harris. Now, we've got this. This may be the same thing actually. This is from the londonnewsonline.co.uk. Okay, I think it's slightly different, so I will read it out. So obviously we got the news of the match, and it says Scott Twine sealed all 3 points for the home side to leave Millwall pointless from 2 games despite scoring 5 goals. I wasn't happy with the defending, said Harris. We gave some poor goals away, but we got back to 3-2 up. I praise my players for that. We get to 77 minutes and we were really comfortable second half. By far the better team. 2-0 down, you get 3-2 up and you get a bit leggy and you need impact from the bench, and look what Bristol City brought off their bench and the impact it made on the game, and that's the difference at this level. They brought on 2 good players that changed the game at a moment of quality. Can we defend better? Yes, all 4 goals we can defend better. I've watched them back, we were off it, and that's 7 poor goals that we've given away in 2 games, and that's not acceptable. We scored 5 league goals and we haven't got a point yet, and that's really hard to take. On the positives, the Lions head coach said, 3 good goals. I'm pleased for the 3 goal scorers. Like Romain scored again. He's a 19-year-old that's come through our system. So yeah, that's the same quote again. So yeah, that's the same quote. So there you go. Now, obviously, we're only 2 games into the season. Obviously, you can't really get a clear picture until about 10 games in. Only an absolute Wally would look at the table and try and divine anything from that. So here we go. This is from whoscored.com. This is the table of the championship as it stands right now. As you can see, Millwall are in 22nd position. We are only one of 3 teams that have lost both of our opening games. However, the 2 other teams are Preston and Cardiff, and they haven't even scored a bloody goal yet. So, we've scored 5, which is insane, because if you look up the table, you have to go all the way up to Bristol City, and then up to Blackburn, and then up to Watford, and then up to Burnley to find the only 4 other teams that have scored the same amount or more goals than us. So what the hell is going on? Well, if you look, we've conceded 7 goals, and the only other team that has got a worse defence than that is the team that's rock bottom, 7-goal Cardiff. They've scored 0 and conceded 7. We have scored 5 and conceded 7, and we both have the same amount of points. Interestingly, obviously, only 2 teams in this league that won both games. One of them is Burnley, which is no surprise. The other one is Watford, which is a surprise. was led to believe that they were one of the easiest teams to beat in this league, which is why probably a bit upset that we didn't beat them at home last week. But they've gone on to win now, so, and only one of two. So rather bizarrely, so obviously has been mentioned that this league seems to be a bit more open this season. Obviously, there is a game tomorrow, though. We've got Sheffield Wednesday versus Sunderland. So both of those won their first games to 0, so they both have clean sheets, and they both have a winning record. So you imagine if that game is won tomorrow by one of those teams, then we would have 3 teams on 100%, which is quite weird. So obviously we do have a competitive league this season, it looks like. We also have, bizarrely, 3 teams that have drawn both of their games: Leeds, Portsmouth and Hull. Interesting, because we play Hull next Saturday morning, 12:30 kickoff, and they have drawn 2 games, scoring 2 and conceding 2, and they have both been 1-1 draws. 1-1 against Bristol City at home, and 1-1 away to Plymouth. So there you go. This is the table as it stands now. And if we go, can we get the goal scorers? Here we have the goal scorers. Duncan Watmore, number 3 in the league. Can you believe it? With 3 goals. So 3 of our 5 goals have been scored by Mr. Duncan Watmore. Yowzers. Wow. There you go. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.